forgive me, Father Mayo, and the cadre of confessional collectors.
Very good.
For I and my brother have sinned. Let me take you back to 1982 and a beach on the south coast called Mill Bay, which is a perfect location for a family with young children. Facing the picturesque hillside town of Sulcombe, across the tidal estuary, the bright white sands and enclosing wooded cliffs create a haven for holidaymakers and locals alike. But from the eyes of a 6-year-old with engineering pretensions, the only thing that mattered was the presence of a wide stream running down one side of the beach. On any sunny day, you'll find at least 3 or 4 small groups of children engaged in the time-honoured tradition of damming the stream, with varying degrees of success. On this day, however, I, along with my younger brother, Donut, decided the approach, which is a really, really fine name, isn't it? I bet he's still called that now.
Yes.
Decided that approach was for amateurs, and gathering every willing infant on the beach, began the process of building a truly awe-inspiring edifice in honour of the gods of temporary constructions. Our parents, grateful for any sort of rest from our youthful exuberance, were content to keep an eye on us from the comfort of their beach towels, and indeed encouraged us to pursue our creative ambitions at every opportunity. Hence, whatever follows is obviously, clearly and undeniably their fault. Starting in early afternoon, we worked tirelessly, and although we lost some workmates to boredom and early departures, we gained others as they came to admire our work and were press-ganged into helping out. Stopping only for reapplication of sun cream and the occasional refreshment. See how he's just cornering off everything? See, he's just perfectly behaved. You can't even get him for that. When the sun started its downward journey, we appeared to have replicated the Hoover Dam across that shallow stream, though in fact it was closer to about 2 foot tall. While not sounding like much, this stream is between 10 and 15 feet wide, so a not insubstantial lake had built up, stretching back from those towering walls. This was an extraordinary achievement. However, we didn't have too much time to admire our work before parents started to arrive to collect their youngsters for the journey home, who had to be dragged away from the fruits of their labours. As our parents showed all the signs of restlessness, we decided that, as responsible seaside engineers, we should return the area to its formerly pristine condition, and we joyfully kicked a large hole right in the middle of our dam. We watched the waters gush in ever-increasing volume through the growing breach and resolved that we would race it down to the sea. However, speeding down the beach and rounding a large rock, we were shocked by an awful sight. You see, on this blazing day, it appears that our efforts had been spectacularly successful, and the stream bed had completely dried up, presenting ideal spots for a family to lay their towels against a usually wet rock, lean back and soak up the rays with their picnic and their books. I say a family, but in fact, there were 3 families, all of whom were spending their blissful last moments in a warm and dry world. We watched in horror, half fascination, as the small tidal wave reached the rocks and in true cartoon style piled up over and around the families, transforming the idyllic beach experience into a raging maelstrom of water and seaweed. Shrieks were heard from the other end of the beach. Newspapers were torn wetly apart. Sandwiches became inedible, and I distinctly remember a hat and a picnic mat making its way to the sea as the torrent raged inexorably on its way to freedom. Heck, even some of the family members ended up being rolled across the sand until the surprise wore off and angry energy kicked in and they managed to struggle free from the rushing waters, minus in some cases sunglasses and small radios playing the test match. Our parents, safely ensconced at the top of the beach, were somewhat surprised with the enthusiasm we showed for packing up and scarpering as fast as our tired legs would carry us. We didn't stay around to get mired in the inevitable witch hunt for the transgressors. We made a clean getaway, resolving that the day's activities should not be spoken of for at least a week, lest parental morals kicked in and some sort of punishment spoilt the remaining days of our holiday. Excuse me. Father Mayo et al., we beg your forgiveness for those families who had their afternoon ruined by a small wall of rushing, cascading water. My one consolation is that if you're unable to wipe our souls clean, it was still one of the funniest things I've ever seen, and one which I will encourage my daughter and any other child to repeat at every single opportunity. Well, it is a classic beach activity. You dam the stream, then when your parents come to get you, you kick a hole in the stream, and a hole in the wall, and then the stream runs down to the beach. However, in this case, with particularly dramatic and unforeseen consequences, Sister Bobby Pryor.
Well, Adam and Brother Donut, who I love. What I can say, what a great picture. Idyllic holiday, beautiful day. I only admire your tenacity in your intentions because, of course, you've got everyone together, you've got everyone working. It's all good things. I can't see any malice here. Or any,
none at all.
No mischievous intent at all in here. It was just an accident.
Are you not going to say they should have checked out the beach, looked behind the rocks before they kicked the hole in?
No, because they are too young to know that. You see, the thing is, actually, this is one time when I'm going to do a mat. This is Bobby doing a mat. I'm going to blame the parents because everyone knows you don't ever camp in a dry riverbed because you never know. Have you not seen Rain Mears? Have you not seen any survival program?
I always said that to the kids. Kids, whatever you do when you grow up, don't camp in a riverbed.
It's true, because you never know when the rains can come. It happened many a time. So actually, it's not really your fault because there wasn't any intent. It's a lesson for next time. But for this time, actually, I'm going to generously forgive you.
Boy, kids, get out of that stream. Brother Matthew?
Yes, well, I like Bobby, have no sympathy for the holidaymakers who are in this dried-up riverbed. Frankly, if you go to the beach, you're going to get wet. You're going to get wet or you're going to get covered in sand. So, them's the breaks. However, where I differ with Sister Bobby is that I don't buy the fact that they didn't know that there were these other families. I think they knew full well. Why else were you building the dam? You were building the dam because you were hoping that people were going to get into the shallow, dried-up riverbed, and then when you unleashed that dam, when you stomped your way through it, they were going to get soaked. That was the whole point of what you were doing. So, yes, a little bit too convenient, your excuse.
Is that right?
But I am definitely going to forgive.